Hello, welcome to another ES Futures Trading stream. Today is Monday, it is 1:35 p.m. Eastern Time in the US. And I think the market has calmed down now. Has given us a couple of opportunities today, maybe two. But what I want to do today is to talk about the opportunities that we have had in this market, right? And how putting price in context can help us to have something or to build an edge, right? The edge is something that everybody looks for, right? I have an indicator, I have a system, I have a method, I have something that will make an edge. And we are always, most of us are always looking for something like that. And I believe, and this is just my opinion, that the edge in trading is the trader itself. Because it is an activity that is so dominated, so emotional, that having a plan actually doesn't matter that much, because there are hundreds, thousands of plans of systems out there, literally, that successful traders have explained it, how they use their systems. But you will find traders that trying to replicate that just can't do it. And that's why I say that the trader is the edge, actually. Something that is, if you have been in this market for at least a week, if you haven't missed these days or last week, you will have an idea of what I'm going to say, or have some appreciation of how the markets behave here. During this day, we have something. Let me see if I can replay that day really fast. What I'm trying to do, the opportunity that market that we have here. Next one, I have another one down here. And today, I believe we have two. One here, and another one. Where's the other one? Kind of look at this is too big. Kind of look around this area here. Oh, come on. Move. This area, this is too big also. This 4. I cannot remember of any other during the past 4 or 5 days. Somewhat that I have seen. Now ask me if I have taken advantage of those opportunities. That's a completely different thing, right? As I have said before, I'm quoting Warren Buffett here, predicting rain doesn't count. What does matter in this business is how good are you at building arcs. I want to replay this day, this part in particular, and I want to show, if anybody's out there, how tempo, right? Tempo changes, and how the tempo that we have here, how it compares to what we have here. Those are, those are two different kind of days, based in completely. The context is completely different, right? And something happened today when the market was up here, which is something I want to talk also about. All right, let's do the replay. What the heck? Where's the chart? Okay, here. Chart. This is something beautiful of that Sierra has. What day is this? This is the 15th. Okay. This is the 15th. Yeah, is it? Wow. 10:15 time 9. I'm going to start 60. Clear all the data channel. Okay, I'm going to clear all the data that I have here. What? Oh boy. My bad. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Okay, let me close this because I didn't. Gosh. I didn't mean to do that. Close chart book. Do not save. Open chart book. I'm opening this again. Chart. Duplicate. Let's duplicate chart. Okay, I'm going to use this one now. We're going to use this one. Chart. Let me go back in time. 10 days. Time limiting 10 days. 10 days. Apply all. Okay. Chart. Replay. What is a replay? Replay chart. Replay chart. Control pause. 15, 9 a.m. Play. Play click data from start date time to click data. Alright. Okay, this is the 14. Okay, play. This is 60 times. 60 times the speed. I think that's too much. This is 9. When this gets to 9:30, I will go to, I think 10. 10 should be okay. It still is fast. It's not going to take that much time. I mean, it already went to 10, right? We're 9:20. 9:25. Let's go to 30. Really fast. I don't want to make this a study. Okay. Play. This is the opening. This is when it opens. It attempts to go lower. Let me pause this. It opens with a gap. Notice where it opens with a gap. 22 is previous day high. 22 is previous day high. Let's keep playing. If you can replay this day, this will be really good. 22 is downhill. It doesn't close the gap. And this is what the gap is, right? Row, line. This is previous day high, is it? Yeah, this is previous day high. Notice how it fails to close the gap. I guess that was an opportunity too. I don't remember now. But that's not what I wanna show. Okay, this is yeah, I remember this when the market tried. This was market trying to close the gap. I just failing to close the gap. Right? Fails to close the gap. And just keep. Notice how there's a lot of whites here. Some volumes coming, but not as much here. Now here. In this part, I don't know if this is going to be noticeable if I do it 30 times faster. This is the high of that day. Here. But here, no, it's not noticeable here, but here the tempo it changes. The market was trading at one speed, one pace, one tempo from here all the way up to here, and here you can feel it, you can see it. It's different. There is just something there that changes. That could have been something there. If you got some experience, maybe you attempt to lean into something here, especially, and this is something that we talk about also, the volume that was coming here, right? This kind of volume at the highs with that kind of movement, you know, all of these whites now, all of these whites being retraced. More than 50% of this range. And inside bar, 10 more minutes to go. This volume here, it's at play now. Because this can be late laggards here. Late long laggards trying to jump into the market. Okay? And this is failing. This will be, of course in hindsight. This is an inside bar. The inside bars are seen by traders all the time. The inside bar has broken to the downside. What do we have? What was the trend? What was happening? Well, there was rotation, there was nothing there, but the market was coming from a big break. Inside buy is the lowest taking. Now, any trade here will have this high as a stop. It starts to rise, but the main thing here was how tempo changes. That's one opportunity right there. And we know what happened afterwards, right? The next thing to check is maybe this area here, and then the gap. You don't want this market or this. Now you start to monitor for continuation, right? The next thing over here is this volume, this area of volume, and the next thing closing the gap. Those are the things. As long as this high is not taken, you got something. You may have something here. Now let's replay the other day. Let's replay. Let's replay this day. This was a terrible day. Right? Was coming from a day that was absolutely horrendous day that has nothing there to see, to watch. Tremendous chop. Tremendous amount of chop that we have here. How do we get down to here? I'm going to stop here. This day is the 17th now, 2 days after. Really hard days to trade, man. These days were not easy. Okay. All right, 10 minutes before the market opens. I don't care about these things, just want to get down to this area here, to this one here, because market opening inside previous day range, market opening inside, we are 30 times speed, market opening inside previous day range, so the other chop rotation were high here, and there was nothing here, nothing, absolutely nothing here. It was a painful day to watch. It was like watching paint dry. Really, it was really painful to watch. It wasn't. You can see the chop that was happening. How many periods this one has before getting to what I want? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 periods. But look at that, man. Look at what's happening. Look at what's happening here. All the way up, all the way down. Tremendous chop, right? Tremendous chop. To enter this day with a bias, that was the worst thing that we could have done that day, right? Remember that. Entering the day with a bias was one of the worst things that we as a traders could have done during that day, which is something completely different to what we have today, right? One type of trade coming here, another type of trade will be seen here, which is a completely different positioning, completely different view, completely different context. And that is what being a discretionary trader is. You just see on opportunities, you see prices, and put market in context. What was going on? One of the things that constantly we talk about here is, if I look for a trade, I will find a trade. And the odds are really high, really extremely high that trade is not going to be a good one. Really, it's not going to be a good one. Good trades come from nowhere. Really comes from nowhere. Usually are very uncomfortable. Man, you start to doubt yourself, you start to second guess yourself, and that's why you have your plan, right? You have your plan in place that you put, right? You execute, you stick to, and in that plan, you have your stops, you have your entries, and you have your exits, right? This low was not good. I wasn't, tempo, something here, for example, tempo in this day, what day was that? Tempo in this day, yeah? Tempo this day, which by the way was Friday, right? Was completely different than here. All right, all that was happening here was completely different, and that's why. And I am quoting here, but tempo cannot be teach. Play. What the heck happened here? Come on, man, really? Where's my replay? Oh, yeah, okay. Well, and I think this happened during the stream. Oh, I don't remember, really. I was watching this. Just watching, because there was nothing here. Really, there was nothing. The market action to the upside, market action to the downside. There's this rotation here in this market. Is there going to be another rotation? Who the heck knows? Don't know. Potential destination on this trend may be the opposite side, maybe this low, but And check this out, how wide this area is, right? So probably this area is going to be retraced, or it's going to be tested as it was here, right? And here it comes. It comes down, down, pushing a little. Can you see how it pushes? It comes down, comes back up, comes down, comes back up. You know? And boom, you got that. You got this low being taken, but just 2 ticks. And here is when I start to think, wait a minute, there can be something here. You know, when the market was down here, it was very slow. It is really the market give you a lot of time to play, to get into, to jump in. And one of the clearest things here was, as it was here during this day, what was the stop, for example, that we have here? What the heck is happening here? What was the stop here during this day? This is an inside bar, the opposite side of the bar. Here we have, if this market comes back and take this low out, or gets too close to this low, that's an out. Because the auction is going to the downside, right? The auction is going to the downside. It cannot be up here. It has to be below here, as close as possible to this low. But as I say, this is a completely different mindset and mentality, completely different trade. This is not based on levels. This is not based on moving averages. This is discretionary trade. What discretionary trade is about. I can take the same trade, meaning the same area, but tomorrow, for example, but it can be completely different context. Right? So that's why, or at least in this case, in the type of trades I do, it is very important the reset part. I had to let it go. I had to forget about what I did and focus on the market again. Once I am close, for example, or once I decided to not to enter, to remain outside of the market, I had just let it go. I cannot stick to that. And this is very uncomfortable. Continuation of this trade, first we'll see the market taking this high out. Right? Just taking this high out, and this possible, if this high is taken out, that's when you can move your stop, right? Maybe to this area, where you can see there's a lot of volume accumulating here in this area. Now this high has been taken, so start to trim, hedge, or whatever, right? And the stop can be moved here. Remember, this is a rotational day. It went higher, it went lower, now it's going higher again. More likely it's going to go lower. Did it went lower? I don't know. I have no idea. Because I mess up with this chart here. Right? Let's play it full speed. But not full speed. This is faster, 100 times faster. But this is a lot of games, man. This is a lot of games I have here. Now next, probably move your stop up here to this area here. And as this area is taken, so that's an out. That's an out. The market may come up here, but brother, you don't wait. And most of the damage that we have as a traders is we try to capture the last 5%, last 10% of the movement. All right. And what happened? That was one trade, or that was another trade, another opportunity. Another example. I'm going to stop this. I'm going to go to 2 days. Okay? 20. Today's 20. Speed 30. Night 20. Play. Let's clear all the data. Okay, the market is night 20. Here. And one of the things that I have here, and this is going into the opening, I have the market closing up here on Friday. Market closing up here on Friday. At the time, indices, the Dow was, had good also taking Friday's high. Russell was higher than Friday. The ES was very close, and Nasdaq was higher. Okay. Bonds have a really questionable highs on Friday. Good also the market could come and check this high. You have 3 white here, potential firecracker effect, potential dump here. Same goes to the 30, and the same thing is happening today again. Well, but this is after the fact. All right. So the mindset here is different. Coming to the market over the weekend, one of the things that I noticed when the market opened over the weekend wasn't open higher. It opened higher than the settle. It tried to sell but then recovered. So that can be something that the tone may be to the upside. But that's just one piece of information. It is just one piece of information. As a matter of fact, what I was watching here is how this pullback that we have done during the opening actually came down to settle. To last. This is last, basically last. And when I see that, the market has good also coming back. Another thing that I saw here was the overnight has a very prominent POC, really prominent POC. You can see Nasdaq here was a very prominent POC, but it was coming. All right, it was coming. Everything was coming from something really interesting here. Right. It was coming from this overnight here that we have here. Yeah. Remember, we talked about this volume on Friday. Very unusual volume, almost 500,000 in this session. At the time, gosh, there was nothing, right? I couldn't connect the dots, right? Then we have Friday, rotational day, back and forth, value basically building inside the range, the 5-day range that we have talked, but still no dots connected here. We have really low volume compared to this day during this overnight. Very prominent overnight POC, and around 190,000 contracts here. So there was something here. Two things. We have a gap to the upside, which could lead to the market trying to close the gap, which can be used by this inventory to get out because this is underwater now, or you're having some really quick upside, a squeeze in the shorts that we have from the weekend, Thursday, Friday. All right, and notice what is going to happen here. Okay, so I have that already in mind, something to the upside. So I don't want to be short in this market. 29, boom. Notice where it opens. Opens and it starts to buy from there. It didn't even make an attempt to close the gap. Opens here and up we go. Volume coming on the upper side. And one of the things, nothing, as this market keeps going higher, nothing changes. Right? There was just the same pace, the same tempo. It doesn't slow down. it keeps going higher. There's a pullback. This back and forth that all because markets never go straight up or straight down. What I'm watching here is tempo, is the speed at what the market move. All right, I was watching the same thing that I watched here during this day. When the market reached this high. I mean, it's not something that I watch consciously, right? But it's like when you are driving, right? You are on the highway, you are not watching every single car that is in front of you, on the right, on the left, or behind you. What happens is when you are driving, you are just driving, right? Imagine yourself driving. What you pay attention to is when something unusual happens, when there is a change. Suddenly, your eyes, maybe in the rear view mirror or something on your peripheral that gets into your peripheral vision, just stand up, something changes. You don't see a car moving really fast, but you just see something kind of like a odd in the back, right? In the rear view mirror. And that one catches your attention. And then you start to focus on that thing. That's how this thing worked here. And today I was watching at that very specifically here. Because, as I say, this is a different context, different kind of opportunity that the market had here. There is something here that happened, for example. The market drives here. But as it goes lower, it keeps the same pace, going back up, back down. This is when I decided this is an opportunity here to get in to this market. One was here, you didn't catch it, somewhere in here, there was no attempt to close the gap. But tempo just doesn't slow here. It just doesn't. It just keep going, keep doing the same thing that I was doing. Right? As the market develops, something else appears here. The market starts to form distributions. I believe at the time, as you can see, Nasdaq still has 3 distributions, but the ES formed 3 distributions as well. In this pullback the market had, I think this is where the opportunity happened. Okay, it didn't take this area, this area of volume. Comes to the center, it didn't. Here is when the opportunity happens, right? Because if this market comes below this or too close to this low, all of a sudden it may come down and attempt to close the gap, but that didn't happen. Right? It just didn't happen. And tempo remains. And that's the most important thing. Tempo remains unchanged here. And here is when I start to ask myself, can this be a trend day? Because the past weeks we have, it is my opinion that we have had too many trend days. Some days, sometimes back-to-back trend days. Okay. The uncertainty part of this business happens next here. Right? When the market has a quick break, right? Really quick break. How do I monitor? How do you monitor these parts? It's not really that rocket science. The market is getting out of this range. First it gets out of this range. Next thing gets out of this range. Next thing gets out, which is a 2-day range here, right? Next one we have this range, which is a bigger one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days range. Breakout after breakout after breakout after breakout. Next thing could be the all-time high. I was checking maybe the market having potential to go up here, but first it has to close this distribution from this big day here, from this, and get into the opposite side of this little one here. oh my bad, getting inside this, targeting maybe this upside. Everything seems to be heading in that direction, right? And here comes a part that many people, many traders can wrap their head around, and which is uncertainty is really, really a fundamental part of this business. Anything can come out of nowhere here. And what we're going to watch is President Trump coming out and tweeting, I don't know what he did, right? And said he was going to put 200% tariffs on China, something like that. And that just, generates a knee-jerk reaction in this market. But what happened here is, traders have figured out Trump now, right? There's a tremendous amount of selling. But the market just don't gather, right? It's being bought. There's tremendous pressure to the downside, but it doesn't collapse. It just doesn't collapse. Right here. I think this is it. This is when that happened. The market just doesn't collapse. And it starts to trade sideways. When that happened, every time now, as the market keeps going higher, the risk increases, because the next thing I was watching here is how volume. Look at this volume. How volume is relative to Friday? Very low. Like 15% lower. So this market, and this is information not for today, maybe for the upcoming days, right? Because markets are going higher in prices, going up in prices, but without volume backing up the movement. And if I check here, if I check the New York Stock Exchange, look at that. It opened also. This is Friday. Look at where it opened relative to Friday. One of the lowest openings, I guess it was the lowest opening of the past 10 days, today. That is something. Okay. And these kind of opportunities, these are just three, right? Ways to see the market, or how I see markets. I'm going to remove this chart. I'm going to close chart book, do not save, and reopen chart book again. Right. Notice how Nasdaq is very close. It seems that Nasdaq is obsessing the all-time highs here. Now the next question is here: do you want to participate? Do I want to be here in this market? I made a decision not to do it after I have seen these lows here. Right, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 very questionable lows down here. Here I have 4 white here. I have 4 white lows. I consider the risk increases here. You got 4, you got 1, 2, 3, 4. If the market comes down and check this thing, I'm not saying this is going to happen today, okay? Because the day is to the upside today. The tone is to the upside. Traders will be buying or are buying dips here. Very risky, right? This distribution in the upside has not been closed. Seems like it is going to be. Maybe probably at the same time the market, the Nasdaq takes these all-time highs. What is happening with the indices? all indices are in sync now. Really. Tremendous weakness that is being building in this market, which is kind of like back to normal, right? After the bigs increased to 20 something, I don't remember how much the high was, 23, 22, something like that. Now we're back below 20, we are 18. And notice what's happening, for example, notice this formation in the Dow. Five crack effect potential here. We have 1, 2, 3 lows here, 2 lows very, very close together here. Same goes for Nasdaq, up here, down here, down here. Just look at this, look at this, look at this. All right. Can I make say? Oh yeah, I can make here. I got this, for example, Nasdaq. This one here. This one here. Sign of weakness here. I got the same thing going on in now. Many downfalls happen. I mean, all indices are doing the same. All right, have the same weakness. Man, this is really bad. The Dow is really bad. All them all that have tremendous weakness. But the tone on the market is to the upside. So why I want to short a market that is going higher? Why? If somebody's shorting the market, why? Ask that person why shorting the market. Believe what you guys are seeing. There might be some weakness, but the market is going higher. The acknowledgement of the weakness of the structural weakness the market has, it's going to be useful for me if I'm going to take a trade here. That's going to be used to assess risk. Can I give the market some room, for example? If I'm used to give market room, under these circumstances, probably I'm going to reduce that. Or at least that will be part of the idea. Have a very specific references that I can monitor for continuation or for rejection. I'm not willing to give the market any kind of room, because it just can go in the opposite direction really fast. But I am not going to bet for that to happen. No, we have this catalytic that happened here in this day. President Trump came out and said that he wants to put 100%, 150% tariffs on China, and the market has this knee-jerk reaction. Today it comes out again and says pretty much exactly the same thing, and notice what's happening with the market. Right? So I just don't want to be here anymore. And that's how I trade. I came neutral to the market. Once I see the charts, once I saw the opening, okay, there can be something here. All right. Doesn't matter how good are you or I can be predicting predicting rain. What matters is how good I am building boats, building arcs. All right. That is what matters here. How do I take advantage of the information I have? That is the most important thing. Okay. I have duplicated this chart as well. I am still testing this. I decided to keep this one. Chart settings. I'm going to go with NQ. Just to check, cancel, apply all. Okay. So this is really interesting. Really interesting too. What happened here? The way how how this volume, this is weird, okay? Because usually you have accumulation, one on top of the other one, but there is something going on that is systematic, right? Very systematic, very systematic increase. If I don't say a word, I don't know if that's the right word for this thing, but the increase has been weird. That's the thing I'm talking about. I don't know what is happening, right? The analogy that I did, when you're driving, I look at you just don't look at the rear view mirror, but you feel something changes, and suddenly you pay attention, and you see a car in the back, right behind you, that's going right, left, going, passing cars, in the dangerous way. So that's when you start to pay attention, right? I don't know what's happening here really. And also, that's another thing. I don't have this. I have had this study that I built, maybe for 1 week or less, not that much really. So I'm still testing here. I am going from. I still have open my regular chart, the other screen in which I have here. Have this, right? This is the New York. This is overall. This is the New York Stock Exchange that I have here. VIX is 18. This is what I say. Higher, 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 higher. All right. The tone is to the upside. This market is set to the upside. It has had weak. It has had relevant news, but the market is just ignoring those things. Now, what do we have? I think we have Netflix on Wednesday. Let's check Netflix, by the way. Let's check those markets. Let's check those markets, man. Just a minute. I need to load my charts, my watch list. Netflix, here it is. All right. Netflix is in a range. Is going. It is range, man. This can go anywhere. This can go anywhere. This is the monthly, weekly. Can go higher. You can test this high, and then we can see this testing high here and come down here, or it can go down here, and it can go anywhere. We have a gap here. Probably, this may. Oh, look at this gap. Okay, this is very questionable here. This gap, where is this tool? So was bought the higher the gap. Probably may have some upside. The other one that is reporting, I believe, is Tesla. And Tesla, I remember saying that didn't look good. The monthly, man, I wonder what can happen if this month closes right where it is right now. Look at this trend that's happening here. The breakout, man, I don't like this kind of formations when markets start to do this kind of thing. It is not uncommon to see a break that brings the market back to where everything started, right? Maybe checking this one or coming right to the center. You have a trend here, maybe coming down to here. That's a weekly. Daily. Actually, there's a breakout to the upside here. I got to be very careful here in these markets. Got to be very careful here. And those are the two things for this week. And then we have CPI on Friday. Probably You have been following the news. Last time Chairman Powell spoke, I don't know when it was, but he said that we will be having CPI, more likely having CPI. Let me check the calendar if there is something else. CPI delay. It's a delay. Has been delayed. At least that's what this calendar says. Econo Day is saying that has been delayed. Jobless weekly is on Thursday, but I don't know if that's going to be. I don't think that's going to be out. There's a lot of data that is not being released now. This thing still has potential to the upside here. Not the accumulation, but I am not willing, really. I'm not. I consider the risk has increased considerably here. But I won't be short in this market. The last thing I want to be is short, especially after what had happened. Especially how the market after witnessing how the market reacted to that news, right? Regarding President Trump putting more tariffs on China. Okay, I hope this helps. If you have any question, please just let me know. As usual, I wish you guys a wonderful rest of the day. Stay safe. Hope we can see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.